everyone. Welcome to Prince or Michael Jackson. Today's guest is Aaron Foster, and we're going to get to know him in a fun way. Here's how it works. I'll ask a series of this or that questions, and all he has to do is pick one. Even though that sounds simple, a lot of times people have a difficult time, but he's going to pick one. No overthinking, no long explanations unless he wants to explain why. That's totally up to him. And I want you all watching to play along in the comments. Let us know which options you would have chosen. And after the game, we'll move into spotlight time where Aaron will have an opportunity to share more about his business, what he does, and how he helps people. I'll probably ask a few follow up questions so that we'll get to learn more about him, even more about him. All right, let's get started. First question, Prince or Michael Jackson?
Prince.
Finally, you're the first person since I think since I've been doing this. You're our fourth or technically fifth guest, and you're the first one. I am also a Prince selector of Prince, even though you couldn't go wrong. They were both amazing. Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So Rakim or Heavy D?
I gotta go with Rakim.
Rakim, I meant Rakim. So
Mhm.
Rakim, I knew how to pronounce his name. I don't know how I get that wrong, but Rakim, I thought of him because in the category of rappers you put him in, most times you would respect those rappers more than the category that people would put Heavy D in. But Heavy D was a businessman and just seemed so comfortable in his skin. And even though Rakim was like this amazing lyricist and poetic guy, I think I had to go with Heavy D. But that was a hard one. So, Sade or the SOS Band?
Sade.
Alright, alright. Old school hip hop or old school R&B?
Ooh. Oh man. I grew up in the old school hip hop era. I'm gonna have to say old school hip hop.
Alright, okay. So if you didn't guess, that was round 1 and that was the music round. So now we're gonna move into a round that I think you are going to give us some great answers to because it's a round that we do every time, but it's a good round for you. It's the foodie round.
Okay.
So we're gonna start off with brisket or ribs.
Brisket.
Yeah, okay. I remember growing up and my uncle in Oklahoma, he was just so proud of his brisket. Every
Oh
time
yeah.
we would go visit, he'd make that brisket and my brother loved it. I It was good, but my brother was just in heaven here whenever he
Mhm.
made that. So yeah, brisket, that's a good answer. Now, potato salad or coleslaw?
Potato salad.
All right. Cherry cobbler or peach cobbler?
Cherry.
Okay. That's different because a lot of people are more familiar with peach, but I'm sure that cherry cobbler is good. Do you make it?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
I
you
make
do?
both.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Actually, I make four. I make a cherry, a peach, an apple, and a pineapple.
Oh, now I've heard of cherry, peach, and apple, but pineapple?
Man, let me tell you, and you sprinkle some pecans over the top of that pineapple,
Mm,
it's amazing.
that sounds so interesting in a good way. Because I know when people say interesting, that can
Mhm.
mean anything. Most times they'll say, "Ah, okay, let me just try to compliment somehow." But no, actually in a good way, that sounds
Mhm.
interesting. And where are you located?
I live in Kansas City, but my restaurant is located on base at Fort Leavenworth.
Oh, okay. And my other uncle from Kansas City, Missouri, he also made brisket. So that's funny. We would visit Kansas City, Missouri every year when we were kids. Yeah, that's another reason besides visiting the few family that still live there for me to come to Kansas City to check out that pineapple cobbler. Okay, let's keep going. Last one on the foodie round is taco salad or Reuben sandwich.
Imma have to go with the Reuben sandwich. I really like Reuben sandwiches.
They are special.
Yeah,
It is something special.
I consider myself a Reuben sandwich connoisseur.
Mm.
So I go around, if I see a restaurant that has a Reuben sandwich and I've never been there, that's the first thing I'm ordering.
What makes a good Reuben sandwich? Stands out.
For me, it has to be a good Thousand Island dressing and cheese. The right cheese. The bread really doesn't matter. I know it's normally on rye bread, but if you don't have enough cheese or enough Thousand Island dressing, to me, it's a little.
So dry. That's true. That's true. I agree. Okay, round 3, outdoor life. Okay. Hunting or fishing?
I can't pick both, huh? I'm gonna say hunting, and I'd like to explain why.
Go ahead.
If you've never been hunting, for me, it's not so much going out and finding an animal to shoot or kill. For me, that's my one-on-one time with God because you're out in the middle of nowhere. There's no distractions. There's no planes flying over. There's no cars with the radios up loud. You may hear a dog bark every now and then, but it is extremely peaceful. And so whenever I go hunting, especially I like going by myself, it's just that time to sit down, and the Bible says he's always with us. So since he's always with us, I sit down and I air it out. I let him have everything that's on my mind. And since it's so quiet and peaceful, I actually don't get distracted. I get to hear what God is saying. So that's why I choose hunting. Now, the bonus is if he blesses me with what I'm after that day. If I get to shoot a turkey or a deer or something like that's the blessing.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
If I come out of there empty-handed, I come out of there with a clear mind, a new look on life. I feel a whole lot better because I got a chance to talk with God one on one, and
Yeah, yeah.
it feels like for me, it feels a lot of times like he stops the world just to listen to me.
Oh, I love that. Another bonus would be just the health benefits to being out in nature in that way. A lot of people, like healthy gurus, talk about going out, taking your shoes off and letting your feet touch the ground and the
Mhm.
grass and just connecting with the earth and how that's a health benefit. So I just love the idea that finding, no matter where it is, finding a moment to just slow down because everything's so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so great answer, great answer. Thanks for explaining that. Cause I kinda thought you were gonna say fishing. Cause once again, me knowing my people from your area, we would always go fishing. Every time we visit, my grandmother needed to go fishing. They
Mhm.
took us somewhere and we sat out there. I even had my own
Yeah.
fishing rod when I was little. So that's why I was thinking you was gonna say that, but I see why you were torn, though. I can imagine why you were torn, I should say. So next we have motorcycle ride or drag races.
Motorcycle rides.
Okay.
Just for the simple fact, if you've never driven or ridden on the back of a motorcycle, a lot of people think a lot of people think that they are extremely dangerous. And it is because there's no seat belts, there ain't no airbags, nothing. You fall, you're gonna hit the ground. And
Mhm.
I've had a motorcycle before. Yes, I went down and broken my collarbone, but by the grace of God, I walked away from it. But the thing about a motorcycle is when you're inside of a car, you don't feel the temperature changes when you're going down the highway. You don't smell the wildflowers that are in the field that you're driving by. It's almost riding a horse extremely fast or almost flying. And since you can't have your phone in your hand and they have helmets and stuff now where you can listen to radios, but you're aware of your surroundings. And believe it or not, it's very therapeutic because it's just
Mm.
you. It's just you and the bike. And
Yeah.
you can get caught up, man, before you know it, you're halfway across the state.
As exhilarating as that sound, I'm not sold on it.
Yeah.
It does, it sounds rewarding. I
Mhm.
understand the concept and everything, but yeah, that's I've been on And okay, so when I've been on a motorcycle, the person who I was riding with was not happy because I was holding too tight and acting too scared. So they decided, let's cut this ride short. But it's I've been intrigued before, but still feel the danger.
Mm,
So yeah. So kudos to you guys who are women and everybody who's doing it so that you can get that experience. Gardening or traveling?
traveling. I've always had it in my mind that try to go see this world. Tomorrow's not promised. And when you're there, try to do something that you know you can't do back home because there's no
Mm,
guarantee that you'll ever go back to that place. My wife and I, we travel with a group of friends. It's probably between 20 to 30 of us.
mm.
And every year we go somewhere that we've never been. And so far we've been, our first trip was to Aruba. Then we went to St. Thomas. We went to Jamaica, Punta Cana. This year we didn't go with them. I think they went down to Panama, but next year we're trying to go to Greece.
Oh, wow, that sounds nice. That sounds different from the other ones you mentioned. So that's like a different direction you're taking with Greece. One thing I liked about what you said, and I'm going to keep that, hold on to that, is the idea of doing something that you can't do anywhere else. Usually I'll take a tour right away just so I can see everything and know what I want to do for the rest of the trip. But sometime I will go into a restaurant that that I can go at home. So, like I said, that is so smart though to get the most out of the trip by doing things you can't do at home. Love that. All right. Oh, one more. One more. Gun range or antique shopping with your wife.
Gun range. I like going antique shopping.
Oh,
I
that's
do.
funny.
I like going antique shopping with her because me being a cook, I'm looking for cast iron skillets and stuff like that. But for me, the gun range is fun. It's kind of therapeutic. It's just I'm not there trying to blow up the whole earth or something. I'm trying to zero stuff in and
Yeah.
see how good of a shot I am. But yeah, I'll take the gun range over
All
antiques.
right. What is it about cast iron? I just got 2 cast iron skillets, and I've been wanting them because for years I needed it for health purposes like iron, so I thought I was told that iron will help, and so that was why I've always been kinda hooked on it, but I know that as far as cooking, it seems like it is easier with those nonsticks than cast iron, but why do you like cast iron? What's the
Well,
benefit?
first, if you continue to use your cast iron, eventually from the usage, it will become nonstick. The thing where a lot of people mess up with cast iron is that they wash it with soap and water and it removes the grease off. It moves that thin layer of grease off the cast iron, which makes it stick next time you cook in it. You want to rinse it off, but you don't want to use soap. You can use they have special scouring pads that can scrub everything off. But if you use Dawn dishwashing liquid, its whole purpose is to get rid of grease. And so right after you're done cooking with the cast iron, go ahead and rinse it off, scrub everything that's out of it, and then just get you a paper towel and a little drop of oil and smear it around the inside of the pan and then put it back on the stove and heat it up just a little bit. Heat it up to where it just starts to smoke and then turn it off and let it cool.
Hmm.
The next time you come to use it, it won't stick as much. And eventually you'll end up with a non-stick cast iron skillet.
Oh,
So you have to use it.
benefiting. I've definitely benefited from this interview. Oh God, I didn't know I was gonna come away with that. I literally just bought 2 cast iron skillets. So this is thank you. Thank you so much for that. All right, we're gonna move on to the round 4. It's the last round. It's the wild card round. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right. Know your family history or know your future.
I would say know my family history. The reason because being African American, our history was stripped from us. And that's one thing that my older brother and I are trying to do right now on my mother's side is to go back in our family history to see where we didn't know it, but our great grandfather was Muskogee Creek Indian. My great grandmother on my dad's side is Seminole Indian. So we just found out who our great great grandparents were. So I would say know my family history because it's just a part that's been stripped from us. So,
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. I wish that we could easily learn about the African side of our history because I also have found out my dad found out some years back about us being Choctaw and very close, like maybe I think it was his grandmother, his great grandmother, and his grandmother was half. We knew looking at pictures that they were, but just to find out exactly that they were what tribe they were and everything. But we can't, it's hard for us to find that out about our other sides. I agree with you. That is important. Vanilla scent everywhere or eggs at every meal?
ooh, neither,
Oh my
neither,
god, that's a first.
neither.
That's a first. Vanilla scent everywhere.
I would be sick to my stomach with
I
both.
know, right? I remember there was colognes or perfumes that everyone was wearing that vanilla scent. Oh, I didn't understand it. This was like years ago when I was young, but I remember that. But it smells good for baking, but everywhere, yeah, it would be overkill. So that's a first. No to both. All
Mhm.
right. Bad table manners or bad customer service?
I'm gonna have to say that which one would I prefer? Is that the question?
So it's the one that, yeah, I guess if you had to pick one of those two.
I would say bad customer service because
So the worst is bad table manners, right?
yes, yes,
Okay.
especially coming from adults. If it's kids, I can tolerate that. But when you grown and your type get away
So
from the
what's the worst thing that a grown person can do at the table that would just really make you cringe?
smack when they're chewing, talk with their mouth open with food in their mouth, I would think probably talking to me while they got food in their mouth.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't wanna
Oh,
see
I don't like that. I don't like when people talk with the food in their mouths. And most people don't do that, but it happens. I
yeah,
have to go with bad customer service because it's just it means a lot to me. I know a
mhm,
lot of the black businesses get a bad rap for having bad customer service, and I can't say
yeah,
I haven't experienced it, and
mhm,
I can't say I don't understand why. I'm like thinking of spotlighting, like maybe not like this with the interview, but on the podcast, but maybe just spotlighting on our page, Black owned professional businesses. Shout out to us on Facebook, our group page. But I was thinking of spotlighting like really good Black businesses that offer exceptional customer service just to reward
that's
them. You
mhm,
already get a reward by being in business longer,
yeah,
having repeat business. That's
yeah,
the benefit. But it's just to make sure, like, we understand that we appreciate you when you give us good customer service. 'Cause
yeah,
haven't you experienced this and wish that it wasn't that way? Because I'll say this
yeah,
before you answer. For me, and I was telling someone the other day, I feel like I have to overcompensate to
mm.
provide, like, crazy amazing customer service because of the expectations is low. What do you think?
I don't I understand what you're saying, you have sometimes you have to overcompensate, but I've experienced bad customer service before, but it's I just wanna say I've seen it to where the waiter or the waitress had an attitude. So, the bad customer service came from that individual, not necessarily that business.
Yeah,
It's just that person.
yeah.
So to overcompensate, the I don't do that. I don't try to overcompensate. I just try to,
Mhm.
"Hey, this is who I am." I keep it real. I try to when somebody comes up and they order, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. How you doing?" But I'm not trying to put on a show, but I'm just
Yeah,
keeping it
yeah, I
real.
think it depends on the business that you're in because as a customer at a restaurant, if the service is bad, it destroys my experience. I don't care
Mhm.
how good the food is, I won't come back. If the service is like, I just want good service. I don't want you coming over asking me, smiling, acting too phony and all that and doing too much because then I'm like, "Oh, look at this person. This is
Mhm.
weird." So it could I'm not saying pretend to be somebody you're not, but in service, that kind of service, then where do you go from just being just a really good at providing customer service. How far do you go? For me, it could be giving the extra bonus or something. That's not so it depends on what you do, but I get where you're coming from. But yeah, I think that's something I want to spotlight. I think we got to spotlight it because even though me and you give really good customer service, everybody doesn't. And we need to focus on that too, because that's really important. Because your service can be the best, your food can be the best, your product can
Yeah.
be the best. But if the service is bad, then it destroys it. And we don't
Mhm.
want that because a lot of us have a lot to give, powerful, good stuff to give. Last but not least, work for someone else forever or take the risk of building your own business.
Take the risk. Take the risk. You'll never know unless you try. I had a gentleman tell me this. I was taking an entrepreneurship class, and he asked me the question, "Why are you still working for someone else?" And I remember I said something to the fact, "I don't know how things are going to work out." And then he said this. He said, "You'll never make more than your boss. You'll never make more than your boss. The boss will always make more money than you." And so he gave me the example of Michael Jordan. When he was playing for the Chicago Bulls, he was making a lot of money. But the owner of the Chicago Bulls was making way more money than Michael Jordan. He was making enough money to pay Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, the coaching staff, the doctors, the people who wash the uniforms, everybody who was associated with that organization. He was making enough money to pay all of them and then maintain his own life because he
Mm.
probably had a mortgage, car, and water, light, gas bill, all that stuff. So who do you think was really making the money? So I say take the risk, try. What really got me quit my job and start my business was this, and I'll try to be quick about this. My dad called me and said, "Hey, I got something I really need you to see." And I went over to his house. We sat down at the table, and he handed me an extremely old document. And once I started reading it, what I was holding in my hand was my great great grandfather's freedom papers. The actual document that was given to him, he got his in 1866.
Wow.
That actual piece of paper, I was holding it in my hand.
Wow.
And so that kinda threw me into a weird place because I'm sitting there holding this, and when we talked for a little bit and then I left, and then I got to thinking, I said, "Okay, so wait a minute. Your great great grandpa was a slave, and his parents were slaves, their parents, and you just keep on going all the way back." And so then after slavery was abolished, Jim Crow kept African Americans from starting their own business. You could and so we were told, "Go to school, graduate, and get a job." So that's what probably my great grandfather did. I know that's what my grandfather did. That's what my dad did. And then I realized that's what I was doing. No one ever said graduate school and start your own business. And so when I realized I did the math, when I realized that my family had been working for somebody else for over 350, making them rich, I said, "Nah, that's way too long. Somebody got to do something. There's got to be a turn. At least somebody's got to try." And so I decided to take the chance. I quit my job. I was a truck driver for 31 years. And I realized that driving tractor trailers wasn't going to give me the life that I dreamed because I was never going to make more than my boss. So I quit my job September 2024.
Wow.
I started out with a food truck. Man, if we had time to tell the story of the things that I've been through to this point. When I bought the truck, a month after I bought it, it was stolen.
Oh, wow.
Somebody they just took it joyriding. By the grace of God, I was able to get it back, get it fixed. Had the food truck going for probably about 6 to 8 months, and was invited to come up here to Fort Leavenworth to have a food truck out in front of the exchange, in front of their food court, and was doing really good. Wintertime started setting in, and I told him, I said, "Hey, nobody's gonna want to stand outside when it's 8 degrees waiting on their food." And they said, "We happen to have an open restaurant here inside. Would you want to use that?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I went inside for the winter and was doing real good. And then when spring came, I was supposed to go back outside. but because of good customer service and the product that I put out, all the customers said, "Leave him right here. Don't send him back
Mm,
outside." And so they brought me a contract. I signed a 2-year contract with them. And now coming up here in September, I'll end up signing a 10-year contract. So
wow.
it was worth the risk.
Yeah, yeah.
It was worth it.
Sometime in order to I think what we're supposed to do, part of what we're supposed to do while we're here is learn lessons. And the only way to do that is to be brave
Yep.
and to set goals, accept challenges, all of that. So playing is safe. You're not going to learn the lessons that you're probably supposed to learn. Not to say everyone's supposed to start a business, but there's something you really want to do. And you probably was cooking early on and then came back to it. And
Well,
now it's what you do for a living.
honestly, I've been cooking since the age of 5.
That's exactly what I was saying. There one of my guests at another podcast that I did, she mentioned that what we were doing as children is basically what we were leading toward before we start getting rooted in different directions. I teach I actually other than I'm in marketing and design. That's what I do. That's my main job. I do that for myself. I've been doing it for 20 years now. And around COVID, I started dancing, choreographing line dances. So I do this almost 40% of the time now. I teach line dancing. I was probably 7 years old and I had 4 and 5-year-old girls on my porch teaching them dance. And here I am doing this. So I
Mhm.
believe that is something in that. There's really something in that idea. And it's so great when you get the opportunity to take full circle back or whatever they say and get
Mhm.
back to that passion.
Yeah.
So we're blessed to be able to do what we're passionate about and make a living doing it. And even those who are listening who feel like I'm trying to make a living doing it, you have to just put in the time, work hard, commit, and maybe who knows? It could happen. But if you believe it can happen, more likely it will. Like they say,
But
manifest it.
yeah, but here's one thing that's guaranteed. If you don't, you'll never know.
You'll never know. If
It's
you
guaranteed.
don't, it
It's
won't happen.
guaranteed. Yeah, that's guaranteed. If you don't, it'll never happen.
Yeah, yeah.
One thing that I prayed about was, and when God spoke to me about this, man, this just hit me so hard. He says, "When you step out on faith, I require that you use both feet.
Wow.
You cannot have one foot on faith and the other foot on your own understanding.
Mm,
You got to use
interesting.
both feet." And so he reminded me, he said, when Peter stepped out on the water, he had to get completely out the boat. He used both his feet.
Exactly.
When Abraham was on his way to the mountain to sacrifice his son, they walked. He had to use both his feet. The Bible also talks about how it's impossible to please God without faith. And so if you're going after something and you trust God like you say you do, you have faith that like you say you do, step out on faith with both feet. It tells us not to lean to our own understanding. Don't do that. But you just got to trust him. And God has shown that he has never given us a reason not to trust him. You can't find one time that God did you dirty. So if he's never given you a reason not to trust him, what's the problem? And
I
I
think that's a really good message, the idea of stepping out on faith with 2 feet,
Mhm.
because and that means different things for different people. I don't want you to think because I some of my clients, I tell them, "Don't leave your job yet. You can
Mhm.
still do this and stay at your job," because in your case, that it makes sense. You don't wanna make bad decisions because you don't have enough money. It's not to say that, but jump in it. Be serious and don't half step. When I left the corporate world, I was told to have a year's amount of
Yeah.
income. I was ready and I only had 6. What would have happened if I waited to having that year's worth? Maybe I got pulled back in to that secure space that I was in. So it means different things for different people, but I think you just really gotta hear those words in your head so that it'll mean the right thing for you. And it'll motivate you to really be serious because it's not an easy trip.
No, it's not.
This
Yeah.
entrepreneur thing, if you don't
Mm,
believe in it, if you're not serious, if you don't really love what you're doing,
yeah,
it's gonna be almost the hardest thing you ever experienced. You have
yeah,
to really, and it'll be a failure in that if you
mhm,
don't really, like you said, with 2 feet.
yeah.
So I know we preaching now. We supposed
Mhm.
so we're gonna get to the part
Okay,
where I promised you gonna get to where you get to promote.
okay.
Let's hear you promote what you do and all that good stuff. Let's go.
My name is Aaron Foster, and I'm the owner of Dirty Ridge Barbecue Sauce and Catering. How I got into the barbecue business, I started with a barbecue sauce that I just happened to make on the 4th of July because we had family over my mom's house. We forgot to go get barbecue sauce, and I just jumped up in the kitchen and whipped some up. And my mom the next day called me and said, "That was pretty good. Can you replicate that?" And so I went back over to our house, replicated it, gave it to a few neighbors. Folks started asking for it. I was able to get it produced professionally,
Mm.
but the company that was producing it and we met odds on certain things. So I pulled away from them, but I watched the process so much that I know how to do it. Being determined, I went and found where I could get the bottles from, print my labels off, the whole 9 yards, and I was producing it at home while still working a full-time job. Years go by, I bought the food truck. The food truck I bought, like I said earlier, once it got stolen and I got it back, I didn't have the money to send it off to have someone build it for me because they were talking like $70,000, and I ain't got that. But I knew how to use a tape measure and I had power tools. And I always tell everybody I graduated from YouTube University. I got on YouTube and watched these other guys build their food trucks, and I parked that truck in my driveway and I got at it. And I built the food truck. And then now here I am with a restaurant. We do cater. I've done repasses. The most I've ever catered for was for 500. I've done repasses, birthdays, you name it. But regularly every day, we have brisket, burnt ends, pulled pork, baked beans, mac and cheese, potato salad, coleslaw, ribs, chicken, and we're going to start having loaded baked potatoes every day. Actually, I have some on the smoker right now, and we're going to start doing cobblers every day. So, if I could be an inspiration to anybody, you just got to start. Just start. Have faith in God. Have faith in yourself. And quitting has never been an option. I tell everybody I put myself in a position where I don't have a choice. There is no plan B. Plan A got to work. I don't give myself a plan B. I was holding on to my CDL endorsement for a long time, and I just never got a chance to go get it renewed. So now I don't even have a CDL if this doesn't, I can't go back to driving.
Yeah.
So if you have a good product, I tell everybody our brisket, our food, it just can't be good. It has to be amazing. It has to be. There's no other way.
Yeah.
All my rubs, except for the brine that I use for chicken, all the rubs and marinades are my own. I don't use anybody else's rubs because then it tastes like their food. I want you to taste Dirty Red's barbecue.
Mm.
Now, how I got the name Dirty Red, me being the high yellow fella that I am, when I was a kid, I played in the dirt constantly. I loved the way it smelled, the way it felt, yes, the way it tasted. I would rub it on my face and my hair would drive my mother crazy. I truly had no concept of what it meant to stay clean. And so in the wintertime, if it got cold enough, my face would turn my great uncle, we were having a family dinner out at my great grandmother's place. And I was too young to remember this, but my uncles told me this is how I got the name. He looked at
Okay.
me across the table and he said, "Every time I see that boy, he's either dirty or he's red. So from now
Mm.
on, that's what I'm gonna call him."
What
And
is that is so literal, like,
yeah,
I got it because I was dirty and I was red. That's
mhm,
why they call as and your sauce is called Dirty Red.
It's called Dirty Red's
The
Barbecue.
restaurant's called Dirty Red?
Yes, it is.
Dirty Red? Okay, we won't forget it. That's you
Mhm.
know what? I tell people all the time, a story is so powerful. We connect to stories. Now, it'll be so much easier to remember the name of your company now because you told me that story. So all my clients that are listening to this is what I'm talking about when I say a story is powerful. So this has been great. I've enjoyed talking to you. I hope that we will share your information. Everybody, we will have the information shared in the description. This will be displayed on YouTube as well as in our Facebook group, Black Owned Professional Businesses. If you're interested in being spotlighted, contact me and we'll see. But until next time, I wish you much success on every step of your journey. To
Th
everyone, especially you, Aaron. Thank you
Thank you.
so
Same
much,
to you.
Aaron.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it.